Page 46, Shenandoah. Very famous American folk tune. 4 sharps, we're still in the key of E major. You should be doing the scale on E major. Go to my scale video. Just at least 1 octave up and down. And you really ought to be doing the C sharp minor scale too. You're going to get it on page 47 anyway. You just will start now, huh? Let's talk about this. Again, this is not piano music. This is meant to be singing probably with guitar players, whoever in the background, I don't know. But this is a nice arrangement. And this arrangement gives us opportunities to explore interpreting music. It's a pretty simple tune, really, but it's got fermatas all over everywhere, which tends to imply rubato. Rubato is a give and take of the rhythm. You hear a jazz singer singing, or a lot of singers actually, and they give and take in the rhythm. Where the accompaniment is giving a steady beat, they're kind of lingering on notes and speeding other notes and hesitating on notes or whatever. That's rubato. Yeah. So you can try that out here eventually. Learn it strictly, no rubato or nothing, just, you know, and then we can do that. So make sure we got these. I'm going to kind of take both hands at the same time here, and it's here, here. We have a problem already because I'm going from a B to an E. I want to connect them. I can't connect them because the left hand needs that note. It's in the chord. I got to get off of it for the left hand. The pedal will help us there, and that's one of the reasons for pedaling here is to help connect that note. However, it is an arrangement, and after you learn it, you can rearrange it. And one of the things you can change is instead of playing that B here again with the chord, just hold it down. So play it with the left hand, not the right hand. And then go in. Just add these other notes to it. And that's a way of doing it in these arrangements where they're not real helpful as far as the piano goes. I can go here. Here. However, we'll go ahead and play it the way it's written because the pedal, as I said, is going to connect it for us. So the second line, or the second measure is here. 1 and 2 thumb here. And leave out the fermata and just play the notes. It's this way, because this is in 3/4 time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and... It sounds weird if you're familiar with the song. I don't really think this song works well in 3/4 time, but this is an interesting arrangement of it. I'm adding an extra beat to that. 1 and 2 and 3 and... It's like making it 4 beats long, because typically this song is written in 4/4 time, or 4 beats to a measure. But having these fermatas in there allows us to do it. And then in the last couple of lines, when you don't have fermatas, it changes it and makes it a little more syncopated. It's a nice feel. It really is. So again, on the fermatas, I'm just going to hold them 1 extra count. 1 and 2 and hold. So that left hand is tied, and this chord here, all 4 notes, 1 at a time. Some people will play it so that note is on the beat. They want the melody note on the beat. Other people, like me, play it with the bottom note is on the beat, and that delays the melody note. It's part of the rubato feel. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and... Get it all in fairly quickly though. Well, you do that anyway. So it's again 1 and 2 and 3 and it's a feel thing. So maybe you'd rather do it 1 and 2 and 3. Then you rush in this. Just to experiment with it after you get to know it on how you want to play it. When you're first starting out, you can leave out the wavy line and just play the chord. If that'll help to start with. Anyway, going on, the last measure of the second line, the E's tied there. third line. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 2 and. So it's an interesting arrangement. A bit challenging rhythmically because you want to play it in 4/4 time. If you're familiar with the piece. If you're not familiar with the piece, doesn't matter because anything goes. So get where you can get these notes. This rhythm is, the fingering is okay. Second line is thumb on the, because we want to play the melody legato if we can. Now lift up here when you play the G. This is the last measure in the second line. Here. So that G is by itself. As far as articulation goes, lift up in the phrasing in the right hand. Lift up. Lift up. Lift up. The left hand, play it as connected as you can. There's no phrasing in the left hand. You can't play it connected, but do the best you can. A dynamic, soft, that's the melody. Everything else has to be very soft. See, when I play this, I want to hear that. And you're staying pretty much soft throughout, but you don't have to stay exactly soft. You get a little louder and softer after you get to know it and you start feeling the music, you start interpreting the music, then you get into it. You might want to, on the longer notes, the fermatas, you might want to play them just a little bit louder. Typically, it's again, as part of interpreting music, one of the things you can try is for the longer notes, play them a little bit louder. Don't just give them an accent, but play a little more stress on them just because they're held out. So it's like here, because I'm holding it out a little bit more. So hold that B out in the second line, second measure. Because it has a fermata, I'll just a little extra. It's something you can experiment with. You don't necessarily have to do it all the time, but it's one of the things you can try. Syncopated notes. You bring out a syncopated note. You can try that. So where are syncopated notes? That one. You want to hear. That's what you want to hear, but the note comes sooner. So just a little extra stress. On that, so try a little extra stress on the syncopated note, especially if it's a longer note, like a fermata note. Then the pedal helps us connect the repeated notes. It adds color to the long notes. It's another reason for pedaling. Remember, when we pedal for specific reasons. We don't just pedal. So at the beginning, it's helping us connect the B to the E. Otherwise, we can't. And the repeated, we can connect that with the pedal, but we don't want to pedal because that would smear that up and it messes it up. It's going to be overlapping pedal or lag pedal. The pedal does its thing after the hands. So at the beginning, push it down first and then the pedal. As I play the F sharp, I'm going to lift it up. I'm going to lift it, I'll push the pedal down. I have a problem with that because then I lose the phrase. I'd like to hear the phrase. So maybe I won't pedal until the next measure. Because if I pedal it the way they're showing, this is what it sounds like. Throughout the whole thing, this is what it sounds like. If you like that sound, go with it. I think we can improve on it a little bit. I like to hear phrasing and some rests occasionally. So at the beginning, it's fine. Lift it up on the F sharp. Here, I can pedal the longer notes here, but I'm going to lift it up with the hands so I hear a red. And I'm not pedaling that. I don't want to smear that. And in the second line, this is okay. But in the second measure, I don't pedal the G sharp. I don't pedal and I don't want to catch them both. That's too much. I want to keep a simple sound here, and I don't want it building up too much. That second line, you're here. Then a pedal, and then lift it up with the hands for a phrase. This is fine. But in the third line, first measure, again, I don't pedal that F sharp. I don't want to catch them both. I don't want that. So I wait here, and then I'm going to lift it up with the phrase. You don't really need to pedal that. Keep it clean, and then here, then you can pedal this. If you want, lift it up for the phrase. So there's a little silence there. And I don't pedal that, I don't smear it. Here I can pedal that, it's a longer note. And it is, I can pedal that. So I'm adjusting the pedal based on what I like to hear. I'm not just blindly pedaling it. Experiment, try different kinds of pedaling out, and do I like this pedaled or not pedaled? Don't pedal unless you have to, is what I'm saying though. Speed-wise, it's slow. So you got plenty of time to hear blurred notes, and you have to keep that in mind in the pedaling. See, if it goes faster, you can get away with pedaling some notes blurry because they go by so fast it doesn't matter. But slower notes, you have time to hear them. You don't want to be pedaling blurry, too much blurriness, so you have to watch out. Another thing I'd like to suggest maybe is on these rolled chords. There's different ways of doing these rolled chords, and this is an arrangement the arranger is stuck in. You don't have to roll the chords at all. You can play them all block. In fact, when you first learn it, I recommend playing them blocked, all together. What you can do is you can play as separate. Cut the line short, so the line only goes through the bottom staff. So you can play the top note, the melody note, and the bottom note at the same time. This is at the end of the first line on that last beat for the rolled chord. Play these two together. But make sure you get in these before you play that note, so they're quickly. This way, in the first measure, the second line, together, because otherwise you're stretching it. You have to experiment with the sound again. I think I prefer it with a broken. I'm not arpeggiating the top note with it. I'm just the bottom note, the chord itself, and that's it. And if you want to connect at the end of the first line to the beginning of the second line, you have to pedal that. But I don't want to smear this. I don't want that. So if I pedal, it's only going to be at the very end. After I play that last note, then I can push the pedal down just to connect the notes and then change it. Like so. Again, you experiment with the pedal. Retardando at the bottom, slow down a little bit, that's fine. Experiment. This is one where you can really get into it. It's not that challenging to play, and you experiment with the rubato, and that you can get wild if you want to. could play it 10 times. I play it different every time because I experiment with it. Do I want to get a little louder here and a little softer here? Do I want to speed this up and slow this back down? Don't get too carried away on the speeding up and slowing down, because then it just sounds like you don't know what the rhythm is. So you have to watch that.